Today's our lecture is on mutational breeding. Okay, we earlier studied about river genetics. Under river genetics, we studied different techniques to study the river genetics, and in that we also studied mutation. Okay, so what basically river genetics we all know. So river genetics is changes by changing the genetic structure, we are getting different phenotypes. Okay, that we call as river genetics. And forward genetics is a technique which we can detect genotype or protein structure through the phenotypic changes. Okay, so in the mutational breeding, this term was firstly coined by Fritzplain and Lin. Okay, so Fritzplain and Lin, those are the main scientists that basically coined the term mutational breeding. Okay, earlier Hugo Rice gave the mutational theory on the which basis this mutation term get circulated. Okay, so he generally defined the mutational breeding in terms of deliberate induction development of mutant lines for a crop improvement. Okay, for the purpose of crop improvement, we can use different techniques. Okay, uh, uh, this mutational breeding is also one of them. Okay, in general conventional plant breeding, we using pollination, cross pollination, on all these techniques for the crop improvement. Okay? So the evolution of mutational breeding. So firstly, in 2300 BC, the ancient Chinese book Lulan provides the first documentation of mutant selection. Okay, so in plant breeding program, they firstly identify or they firstly give the mutant selection in their Lulan book. Okay, next this process of mutation and all the discovery carried out. So some major discoveries are just like in first known. Okay, 1927, first proof of induced mutation in plants was given by Geiger and Blakeslee. Okay, so those scientists give the first proof of induced mutation in plants. Okay, so they basically use radium ray treatments of the Datura stentonium. Okay, so they use the radium ray mutagen treatment to the Datura plant. Okay, so in 1927, Muller, working with the Drosophila, provides the proof of mutation induction. Okay, so firstly provide this Muller provides this, this kind of mutation in Drosophila, and there is proof of this mutation induced by X-rays. Okay, Muller generally provides proof in Drosophila eye. Okay, so they generally worked on X-ray mutagens to which they characterize Drosophila eyes. Okay, Stadler also published the result of mutation induction in crop plants. Okay, so generally this mutational breeding they carried out only mainly into this uh, means monocotyledon plants. Okay, generally in cereals. Okay, so most of the varieties developed by mutational breeding are generally cereal crops. Okay? So first induced mutant variety is released in tobacco that is named that's Florina. Okay, using X-rays in Indonesia. Okay, in Indonesia they generally characterize or generally they do define or they generally give this mutant variety of tobacco Florina named Florina. Okay, in 1942 the first report of induced disease resistance in the crop plant. The firstly report this disease resistance variety in cropland. Okay, so in 1944 and 46 the first reports of chemical mutant induced mutation were reported. Okay. In 1949, first plantation experiment using 60 cobalt gamma radiation were firstly seen. And then after in 1954, first release of mutant varieties in vegetatively propagated crop in tulip were released. Okay. So basically, this is an important technique in terms of in considering with the tulip and all this asexually propagated. That means vegetatively propagated plants. These are the main important varieties. Okay. For the techniques. In 2010, 2009, in this period, this genetic genomics is on another stage. Okay, this in this time period, generally different techniques were evolved for the discovery of gene and discovery of sequence of DNA, sequence of individual plants and sequencing process carried out. So this why this mutational breeding program just get automated and robust modern techniques. So that's how this program of tilling and eco-tilling were developed, through which we can identify the mutated segment of DNA. So that's how we can just detect the mutated segment of DNA using modern techniques from 2000 onwards. Okay. Then mutation called micro and macro mutation. This basically depends on the physiological, we can say, phenotypic effect of that mutational experiment. On the basis of this, we can subclassify it to macro and micro. Okay, so in macro, it is generally produced, as the name suggests, it produces comparatively large phenotypic effects. Okay, and it is easily recognizable. As obviously it is comparatively producing large phenotypic effects, so we can see it by light also. Okay, and we can identify on the individual plant basis also. Okay, as compared to micromutation, it is producing a large amount of phenotypic effects. Then it can be easily selected in M2 generation. Okay, so on the basis of phenotypic effects, it can be selected in M2 generation easily. Okay, so this M2 M1 generation are the mutational breeding programs generation. Okay, so for the purpose of mutational breeding, we are generally generating different generation of mutant lines, on the basis of which we select this line. We can further see this in next slide. Okay, so in macromutation, you can see that a comparatively small phenotypic effect you can see here. Okay, so it cannot be recognizable on the individual plant basis due to it producing a comparatively low phenotypic index. So it is not easily recognizable, or individually it's not be selected on the plant basis. Okay, so it can be detected in a group of plants and the treatment of statistical data. So due to this, we need to go for different statistical tests, and we need some chiasm or some different deviation dividing test. On the basis of static data, we can define that phenotypic changes may occur in this individual plant. Okay, so it's generally polygenic in nature and selection delayed till M3. So all, as you all know, what is polygenic? This is polygenic in nature. So generally considering this mutational breeding, we are generally dealing in practically. So in terms of this, we are seeing now the procedure for micro and macro mutation. Okay, so in mutation program, we firstly develop the different generation wise program. Okay, so now you can see here that there is different generation wise program that formulated for this purpose of mutation breeding. Okay, so mutation breeding is not only a, it is generally a breeding program. Okay, so but it's not similar as a conventional breeding. So for genetic diversity, we need to do a mutation experiment. Okay, in conventional breeding, we do cross pollination with this different or distance parent. Okay, for the interest of character, so character of interest. So in mutation breeding, we are doing mutational experiment. Okay, we are treating this plant or seeds with the mutagen, and then we are planting this in soil. Okay, and this for this purpose we do different experiments. Okay, so after in M1 generation we are treating the seed with the mutagen, and then after we are planting them on field, and then after we are harvesting. So basically this is the M1 generation. Okay, so M1 generation, considering about mutational breeding, is basically a starting generation. Okay, so in next generation M2 generation, there we generally selecting or on the basis of natural selection or on the basis of phenotypic selection, we are selecting those plants that are generally superior, that viable, fertile. So on the basis of this, we are selecting this plant and generally transferring to the next generation. Okay. So in M2 generation, the individual plant progenies that is harvested from the M1 generation that we are planting in M2 generation, and then we are selecting also from them the fertile vigorism, normal looking plants. Okay, so selection carried out the process of selection, phenotypic selection. Okay, And then it's generation wise, it is reducing or eliminating those weak or any deleterious effects of mutation. Okay, so we are generally selecting for our interest character that we need. Okay, so in M4 generation, we are also selecting this homogeneous lines and we harvest bulks. Okay, so after those four generation selection, we are getting in bulk the homogeneous lines. Okay, so what is homogeneous line? Homogeneous lines are generally those which have a unique character, a homogeneous character. So that's how we select. So after homogeneous line selection, we generally transfer it to the M5 generation. Okay. So why we need a homogeneous line? So due to we when we commercializing these seeds uh, as a commercialized seed, we need to get homogeneous or a stable and similar kind of character of that individual plant when we are sowing this into our fields. Okay, so that's how this homogeneous line is selected from M1 generation to M5 generation. Okay, so under the M5 generation, we are selecting superior lines. Okay, and with the yield trial. Okay, so preliminary yield trial conducted in M5 generation with the suitable checks. Okay, as a suitable checks for the character. Then the multi-location yield trials are carried out at multi-location for checking the stability of yield. Then outstanding lines released as a new variety. Okay. So on the basis of this, in M9 generation, we are multiplicating the seeds at different locations and then distributing to the farmers. Okay. These are the full process of developing a mutational breeding program for the crop improvements. That's how we improve the crop. Okay. So after generally doing this experiment, we are going in details about the selection of intelligent treatments. So, for the selection, with the we have some criteria. We have some criteria for the selection of mutagen treatments. Okay, so the criteria should be best variety in available crop, and it should seed should be pure. Okay, so there should be not any genetic contamination in that seed which we are going to treat with mutation. Okay, so we need a superior best quality and pure seed. Okay, genetically pure seed that we are going to with the mutation, because we if we have some genetic contamination earlier, then it could be destroying our experiment. Okay, so for the purpose of our development of this program, we need to have a seed object purity and which should be best variety available. Okay, best variety in terms of that our character. So the parts of plant to be treated, we need to decide which part of the plant need to be treated on the basis of the phenotypic character of that plants. Okay, so for generally majorly we do treat this seed only. Okay, but in some cases we need vegetatively propagules, corns, pulps, and complete plants also. Okay, so dose of mutation, this will be a important criteria for the decision or the for mutation program. So the dose of the mutation should be appropriate. Okay, so the reduce it should, so the mutation treatment should not have any harmful effects on the plant also. So that's how we need optimum level of mutations that not going to harm those explant. Okay, so optimum range is required for the so it is generally defined in terms of producing maximum frequency of mutation and causes a minimum killing. Okay, these are the basic criteria for the optimum mutation dose. Okay, on the basis of experiment in different crop plants, we develop a different optimum range of for different optimum mutation dose for the crops. In some crops, we can see here that in brassica napus there is about 120 to 140 kilo radiation. So in just based on different experiments in chemical mutation, ethyl methyl sulfonate, that is about 0.3 to 0.5% for 2 to 3 hours. So this is the optimum dose for of mutation to the crops. So these are the, in that table you can see here that different crops and different optimum dose for them of mutation to the crop. Okay. So after M1 we generally produce this by after mutation treatment. We are producing this by planting these seeds into the uh, into soil, and by this about M1 generation is produced. 25,000 plants are grown to obtain useful mutation. Okay, so we need to do it on a large scale. So that's how we develop this M1 generation. So we need to go on large scale to produce the okay. So mutations with a high mutation frequency, M1 generation cycle is introduced. Okay, so we need to have a higher, larger size of explant or this plants to be planted on large scale. So after this generation, we are going to select or eliminate those plants which are not favorable to our experiments. That's why we need a larger amount of large scale plantation or large scale sowing. Okay. So in M1 generation, we know need to take care of cross pollination. Okay, we should not there should not be pollination in crop plants. So that's how we need to avoid this crop plant crossing in plants. We need to keep this away from each other. That's the isolation distance is about 75 to 100 meter. Based on the experiment, we are going to keeping the isolation distance. So in that case, we can take some mechanical isolation program also. And in M1 generation, we need dominant mutation are selected. So dominant mutation we are going to select and select and harvested into M2 generation. Okay, so those dominant mutation that we can see by phenotypic selection, we are generally transferring it to the M2 generation. When M2 generation, we are just showing this M2 generation can be followed. So M1 plants to row where all seed produced from single plant. So these are some technique to transfer this seed into the M2 generation. Okay. So M1 plant to row means those are selected seed from M1 that we are planting into a row. Okay. Single plants are grown in a row. This is the one method. Okay. But this required a large amount of area or large scale area. So that's why we use M1 spike or branch to row. Okay. So we are generally showing this on in a row or in a tree branch type orientation. Intelligent mutants with distinct feature are identified and selected. So screening and selection purpose, we generally use visual, mechanical, other methods. So visual screening we mainly use by this phenotypic selection. We are generally characterizing these plants. Okay. So visually selection we need some phenotypic changes in plants. For the purpose of early linear disease resistance and plant height, color changes, iron scattering. For this purpose, we are doing for this. Okay. Mechanical, we use generally mechanical purpose, and we use different seed size, shape, weight, and density. Okay. In other methods, we use biochemical selection methods. For this purpose, we use chromatographic and electromagnetic methods for violation. So when genome chips and this, so after screening of this program, we are generally validating by different molecular techniques. So that's how we can going to validate these mutants on the basis of the character. Okay. So mutation breeding for biotic and abiotic stress. So this is basically we do by this two approaches, forward and reverse genetic approaches. So our purpose we do by mutational breeding. So this one is one example that in barley crop for powdery mildew and barley yellow mosaic virus we are doing this for this purpose, developing the disease resistance. So these are some characters that we are doing for quality and nutritional functionality. In edible oil of canola, we are lowering the glucoside cellulates and the uric acid by gene knockouts induced by gamma rays. Okay, addition. So these also carrying out the gene knock process, is knocking out the gene. Okay, so that's how we can reduce the glucose cellulates and uric acid in this canola oil. These are basically different characters that you are. For that, we are doing this mutational breeding experiments. So some of the achievements you can see here that in Asiatic country there are large amount of mutational crop developed. In that cereal crops are generally higher in terms of mutational varieties due to its low genetic variability and different purposes. In China, there is large amount of mutational varieties that released. So in India, it has large amount of cereal and ornamental crop that develop mutant cultivars that develop in India. These are some chickpea varieties that develop in India through the mutational breeding program for different character. And these are some rice varieties that develop in India. By gamma radiation induced mutation, we develop a PNR ranging this varieties. That means this rice varieties nomenclature started with the six of PNR suffix. Okay, so these are currently popular in Haryana and UP. So here is a mutated database you can see. Okay, so this mutational breeding program need to be a contaminated means contaminant zone, and this need to be areas. That's why we need to carry out this experiment under supervising bodies. So these are some institute this experiment we're carrying out. Some of them your means Indian Agriculture Research Institute. This is one superior or this primary institute that where mutational breeding program were carried out. And Bhabha Mumbai, Tamil Nadu University, Coimbatore, National Biotechnology Research Institute, Lucknow. These are some institutes where mutational breeding program were carried out. These are some advantage of this program. You in mutational breeding, we are achieving with the limited breeding efforts. Okay, so there we do not require any specific skill member or skillful member for the purpose of pollination, crop cross pollination. But we generally need some designing of experiment only. Okay, so this is the less effort taking. Okay, so we can do novel variation also by mutation, but there is a rare chances of novel useful mutant character that's produced. So some in character, some mutation produces no chemical contamination. Okay, like as X-rays and gamma rays, those are not producing any chemical or any residual contamination into this. The treatment is to handle. So as it does not produce any contaminant, so it is safe to handle. So there are some limitations that is process is random and unpredictable. So that's how. So as you cannot say that there is assurity of producing mutant and producing at a specific location. So we cannot have predictable nature of this mutation. Okay, so those mutant producing favorable character, they are very rare. Okay, so that's why we need to do a large scale. Okay, or basing or doing multiple times. So large population size and effective mass screening methods are required to select the mutants. So this is mutation that we are facing with. So it requires a large mass production and an effective mass screening. Okay, mutant can have strong negative pleiotropic effects on other traits. So there are some health risks handling chemical mutations, radiation, past neuron treatments. Okay. This is an expensive method, so because we need to field trialing and germplasm storage of large scale. Okay, that's why we need a large scale areas and labors. That's why it's expensive. These are the some limitation of this experiment, and these are some reference book that you can refer. Okay, so through this you can get this idea, and these are the review papers that you can read. Okay, thank you.